Good morning, everyone. This is Hob, and this is Church of Hob Gaming. Uh, just hopping on for a little while, do some Space Engineers. Today we're going to do just some creative play. Uh, Actually, I wanted to spend a little bit of time working on prototyping a new mining ship. So we're going to go ahead and get started on that. In just a couple of moments here. The world's still loading, so excuse me. What I'm looking to do is I'm actually looking to build a ship that will handle a better handle a better quantity of materials, dig a bigger hole at a greater rate of speed with less need to return immediately to the base before I actually unload. And as always, please excuse me. I'm just on the tail end of this cold, so I will clear my throat every once in a while and probably cough a little bit. I will try and mute the audio so that I'm not driving you guys crazy with my coughing. That being the case, I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the in-game video here, and we're waiting for this bad boy to queue up for us. So we're probably going to run for about 45 minutes, and then what I've been doing now is after about 45 minutes of recording, I take about a 15-minute break, and then we'll probably run for another 45 minutes. And I think that we're going to do just an hour and a half tonight, so two 45-minute sessions. I'm hoping to be able to prototype out a working uh, construct within that time period. So I'm going to go ahead and start the timer once the world actually loads. Alright, there we go. Now hopefully the audio is not too loud on your guys' end. I'm actually going to level that down just a hair so that we're not drowning ourselves out. Alright, I think we're pretty good here. Let me get the timer started. And we are rocking and a rolling. So I think, oh yeah, I remember. I was playing around with with the harpy from Star Conflict that somebody had done in Space Engineers. Pretty slick mod, or pretty slick ship. I'm missing a couple of the mods that it needs to be 100% intact. As you can see when I take it out of the world, there's some pieces left over. So we'll just get rid of those to make sure we're nice and clean here. And I don't see any other floating debris. So now I just gotta find the little hunk of rock that I call home. Exact 0. Ah, there it is. Spinning around in circles looking like a goober. Alright, so as you can see, I have a couple of iterations of the mole here. And actually, apparently I just have one iteration of the mole, and of course the constructor and destructor. So, I think I deleted everything else because it was getting a little cluttery around here. Let's get started. That's not what I wanted. G. I want the G, man. So I think I'm going to try and stick with the small ship design, and mostly in the interest of material costs. the large ships, of course, cost significantly more in materials to construct, and I think I'm going to try and go with a 2 or 3 large cargo container design. Probably going to end up being just 2 because I still want to try and keep the ship relatively compact by comparison with the amount of cargo that it's going to take up. So we're going to start by just dropping a new station. And the reason I do this is it gives me a construction platform to work with, something stable that I can actually just stick the ship on, and it doesn't get in the way of anything. And then we're going to hit that. And we're going to do small ship. Just stick that bad boy down right there. Alright. So for this, we're actually going to start with the cargo containers. And the cargo containers have 3 large doors, 3 small doors. Alright, let's do this then. It's doing some funky turning. Hang on a sec here. That should be correct. Large door, large door, large door, small door, small door, small door. Okay, perfect. Now, how do I want to battery this thing? So I have, that might be a way to go. Let's see what the accumulators look like. So this is an accumulator mod. I believe it's by DK, but I'll double check that. And I haven't actually played with it, so I don't know how it's going to stack up. And I'm just a little curious to see what it's got on it. So it's got some power indicators. Looks like it's designed to be stacked, really. Does it have any? Nope, no console interaction or anything crazy like that. Let's take a look and see what kind of power it puts out. There's a small, put out 750 kilowatt hours at 500 kilowatts. That's not bad. 4 of those equals up to 2 milliwatts of power. Interesting. Alright, well let's get these off of here for the moment. So let's get these out of here. And I've talked about this before, but I actually like to build my mining ships, my mining rigs out of heavier armor. And I know that that's a little bit more expensive, and a lot of people will, they don't necessarily like to do it, but I have a tendency to run into crap, and I have a tendency to break things at the most inopportune time. So I tend to do a couple of things. I tend to build out of heavy armor, and I also tend to put, I also tend to put a projector on so that I can make repairs in the field, and I'll carry, I will tend to carry materials around for repairing things like thrusters and gyroscopes, critical systems, for the purposes of maneuvering. I've had more than one occasion where I've had to limp all the way back to base on 1 or 2 thrusters and try and turn around, and just crashed and had a terrible time while being out in the field mining. And so my own mistakes have resulted in this habit of building out of heavy armor because one, it gives you a little bit of extra protection. Um, and two, on something like a mining ship, if you put a fair number of gyroscopes on there, it keeps it gives you good maneuverability and good with a good balance for the weight of the vehicle. And that's, it's kind of a trade-off. You have to use more gyroscopes, of course, because you've got a heavier vehicle if you want to be fairly maneuverable. Uh, I prefer the heavy armor as my option for constructing. So that's where we're going to go. So the first thing I'm going to do is I think I'm going to build a frame for this. And I've seen a couple of different ways of doing it. I've seen some people that they like to do kind of this X pattern here. Oops. And then they build everything onto the front of this X, and then they run the frame along the back. And one of the problems that I have with that is it tends to block your access ports, and that's something that I really want to try to avoid. So I think that I'm going to try something a little bit different. And we're going to do this kind of this pound sign shaped frame. I guess a hashtag frame after a fashion. And what I'm hoping to accomplish is I'm hoping to have a sturdy construction with plenty of room for expansion. Should I decide that the ship needs expanding later on, I can make a modification to it to based on the frame. Maybe a modular. Excuse me. So I don't know. What do you guys think of building modular ships? I've not had a whole lot of success with it in the past, but I'm wondering if that might not be a way to go, where we actually use submerge blocks uh, to expand the cargo capacity of the ship. Let's see here. Because I mean, we could take and we can cargo this bad boy out relatively easily. Curious, do those? Yeah, those actually fit on there really well. Just like that, huh? Hmm, interesting. Alright, back to what I was doing. Oh yeah, I guess I will need that in there to connect up the next cargo container. Totally did not go on the way I wanted it to. Huh. Go figure, right? So I'm just going to rotate it one that way, I think. Oop. And I believe that will line us up exactly the way I want. Yes. I don't know, I have a feeling we're going to end up with another flying brick going this route. I'm going to sit here and stare at this for just a minute. Bear with me for just a minute. I'm going to mute the system sound. I want to check something. All right. Get that back to functioning. And yeah, I think that I don't like this. So we're just going to get rid of the whole thing and start over. So I'm not sure. Looks like my chat overlay stopped working, so I just saw that somebody had sent a chat message, and so I don't know if that's working, but we'll poke at it. And if you do happen to be watching, definitely send me messages. I will try and respond to them as quickly as possible. So, large cargo container design. It doesn't end up looking like a flying brick. I don't really see that happening. For the most part, I think that most mining ships are just bound and determined, or bound to end up looking like flying bricks. I don't know if it's just me. I mean, I suppose I could make flat, make it a flat dome, or a dome with a flat bottom like a flying saucer. But I don't know, it just seems like the best utility and surface area use is like so. And it's kind of a flying brick. Admittedly, it's got a little bit more contour to it, but for thrusters and other equipment. But I mean, in the end, it's a flying brick. But I'll poke at it, see if I can't come up with something stylish and fun. I really am not buying that at all. So we could go with a nice sporty cockpit. How about that? There. Now it's a flying penis. Oh, I don't know. Don't know. Do like the fighter cockpits a little bit better though, but I don't know if I really like them better for a mining rig, if you will. Another option is we could go with it being cockpitless and just remote controlled. The problem is we significantly shorten our range that way, unless we put up a lot of relay antennas. And relay antennas could get pretty expensive pretty quick. Well, I think I'm gonna build it this way, because why the hell not? I'm gonna slap the cockpit right up on top of it, because it's gonna look funnier that way. I don't know if that's really a good reason to put the cockpit up there, but that'll give us a little bit of space back here to put some of the some of the some of the gear that we need. So we want armor, and I have not played with the new armor slopes at all yet. So I think that we are going to do this today, because I want some style. I have no idea if I'll actually manage to accomplish any kind of style in any way, shape, or form whatsoever. Alright, so let's go back to 7 and let's escape out of here. So that is itty bitty. Look at that. Look at that little teeny tiny thing. Let's do something really quick here. It's so tiny. So mirroring does not work on these pieces apparently. Because, yeah, this type of construction makes sense. Hmm. So let's try that again. Just to make sure. Yeah, yeah. These pieces don't mirror at all. Good to know. Huh. And yeah, mods. I do love mods. Somebody had commented that so much mods, and yeah, I kind of have a problem. I run just an epic crap ton of mods, and the thing is I love I love the expandability of the game, and these are I don't end up using all of them. The conveyor expansion mod that I found doesn't seem to link in with the vanilla conveyor components, so I ended up not using that, and I haven't taken it off yet. But it's a very cool mod. I mean, it hugely expands the capabilities, and this is the KC conveyor expansion mod. I don't remember the exact name of it. Um, but it greatly expands the components available for a conveyor system in ways that are fantastic, like the edge conveyors, which lets you actually run a conveyor tube along the edge of something and down and across. It gives you four connectors. It's a much broader piping system. Darth Biomech expands a lot of stuff. And again, I don't end up using a lot of these, like the Titan engines. I've not ever once used them. I've never used the docking ring either. The RCS thrusters, never used them. Large gate, never used it. This was the accumulator is something that I like. I really love the cryopods just for decorative purposes. And I love the laser turrets. I think the laser turrets are absolutely fantastic. Dead text decorations. I love the door mod, Uncle Stee. The Uncle Stee mods are always fantastic. Drifting Thoughts. I don't remember who it was. Drifting Thoughts is not the actual name of the modder, or maybe it is, but they do an armored camera. It's neither here nor there. It's just a slightly different camera for a slightly different style, which I really like. Of course, you've got the various decorations. the wings, the graphene armor. I haven't even used it. I downloaded it to check it out. Haven't really used it at all. I thought it was kind of cool looking. It's supposed to be a lighter and harder to break armor. But I don't know. I don't even know how it works in survival. It's really only here in my creative world that I tend to play with mods a lot. Uh, the various productions. I downloaded the XL assemblers, the XL kits. I haven't actually played with them to see what they do. There's also an extra large refinery that I downloaded somewhere that excuse me. It gives you a double-sized refinery that operates in huge capacity. Um, And then I have the twin welder and grinder, which I don't actually really like all that much. I love the Maglock surfaces. The Maglock blocks are absolutely fantastic from Spectre Industries. Um, the small ship mod pack, again, absolutely great. Being able to use some of the bigger blocks on a small ship, as well as uh, being able to expand what you're able to build is fantastic. Um, and actually, I think maybe that's the direction that I'll go. I'll do a quote unquote big small ship style miner and see how that goes. That could be an interesting. Oh, now there's an interesting idea. Just had a thought, something to explore, um, and maybe that'll be a direction that we go on this. Give me just a second here, since I have this idea. We're gonna don't get rid of that, and I'm actually gonna get rid of these and this as well. This is gonna require a slightly different construction thought process. And I've not done this before, so this is going to be an experiment and a half. Let's go with armor blocks first of all, and I'm actually going to switch the way that I normally do this. I'm going to go specifically with light armor blocks. And what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to build um, a drilling platform after a fashion, but not but without the actual platform. So the whole ship is going to be the platform, and the idea will be that you fly it over to your asteroid, and you kind of do this sort of you land against the asteroid, and your actual drilling movement is considered to be downward from where the cockpit is facing. Um, so you'll kind of have the cockpit will maybe be a sort of um, a dome on top, maybe some cargo containers with some thrusters. I might even put a couple of small refineries on it, just for the purposes of being able to refine some materials while out and about. That could be interesting and fun to build. So let's get started on that. So we're going to do a new small ship. We're just going to orient ourselves like so. And let's go with some interior blocks and some light as well. So we'll go with 5. And I'm just going to start by building a platform to work off of. It's going to be a 3x3, I think. And then since we're going to be building this as a small ship, I think I'm going to go with, should we go with this style of cockpit on it? Or this style? Chin stroking. Chin stroking for thought process. I think I'm going to go with this style of cockpit. In this particular instance. So this is going to take some constructing. So we got the initial platform here. Now, how do I want to build this? I think that what I want to do to and I'm going to clear that whole thing out. And I think that I want to try building this as, and I want to see how these parts fit on here. It's just a little bit faster here. Oops, wrong way. Take that off, switch back to a light armor block. And we're going to just bring this whole thing. Oops. Bunk. Alright, let's get some different windows. Two by three. Is that what we want? Doesn't quite. Okay then. So I just want to point out that one, sound kind of broke, and two, apparently I'm sitting under the seat, not actually in the seat. So yeah, there's that. That's kind of funny. And I don't think I like the windows. So let's do this. I don't know that I'm going to like this option any better. Not going this way. So let's get rid of this thing. see if that one's better. Yeah, that one actually works quite a bit better, so I think we'll go with that style of cockpit then. Hmm. So we will need some sort of a block for these to sit on. What about going this route instead? Oops. Oh, messed that up. Yeah, I'm not even sure where I'm going with this. I think maybe I'm gonna have to do a little bit of tinkering on paper to get a better idea of the design, because I don't don't like the way this is starting to look. It's kind of, well, weird. Actually, it's a lot weird. And what I was thinking I wanted to do is I wanted to have something um, that had kind of an actual dome cockpit. You know, maybe had a hexagonal or an octagonal shape to it, and then that sat down on the center, you know, on like maybe a little kind of a pillar, um, and you know had an access hatch to it, but then had you know around it or underneath it a platform frame that the drills would attach to, something very industrial looking that had the conveyor system connected up to refineries and cargo containers. I think that maybe I need to plan that out a little bit more uh, in my line of thinking, and just because I've not built a ship of this style previously. So this takes up what? This is a 3x3 construction for the actual command chair on the small ship. So I think I'm going to get rid of this again. And I think that I am. I'm going to prototype this offline on paper first, and then come back and revisit the construction of it. So what I'm going to do is we're actually due for a break in just a minute. So I'm going to get this all set up to go over to survival, and I'm going to goof around in survival, finish up a couple of projects I've been working on in there for the next segment, and then over the next day or so, I'm going to do some prototyping, just some drawings, rough drawings of what the drill ship is going to eventually look like, um, and kind of plan out the cockpit space and the control room and those kinds of things, so that we can get a real good look at that. So let's get scooted over here. And we're going to shut that down, and I'm going to go ahead and exit back to the main menu on this. And while I am taking a break, we'll go ahead and see, there's the alarm. I'll go ahead and get this timer started, and I'm going to kill the sound and get the other world loaded up. So we'll see you in about 15